The secret of inner peace is self-acceptance. Now, we've heard a lot about that word, and what I always seem to feel when people talk about it is that they're being urged to accept themselves as they are with all their faults. Well, I don't want to accept my faults. I don't want to blind myself to their reality. I certainly do want to accept that they exist, but to accept them or love them and love myself for having them, I think that's going too far. I feel that I'm somebody who would like to be better than I am and would like to keep on getting better. And so what I would rather say in emphasizing this principle of self-acceptance is to accept who I really am as opposed to who I always thought I was. In other words, I might be somebody who has negative qualities of jealousy or anger or greed or impatience or whatever they might be. But that's not my real self. My real self is the soul. My real self is that great light from which we've all come. And temporarily, because of being caught in the body and identified with the ego and with ego consciousness, I have come to see myself as separate from other people. Therefore, I may develop envy or jealousy or anger or all the negative qualities that people are subject to. But this is owing to a misperception. This isn't my true self. It's a delusion I've fallen into that makes me think I've got some turf to protect, for example, when my turf is the infinite. And if I understand that that's not who I really am, then to what extent should I accept that that's me? No extent at all. I should only accept that this is what I have to work with. I should look at it from the point of I don't want to be a workman who blames his tools, and in this way, this brain and this personality, these are the tools I've got to work with. But beyond that, what I want to do is always accept that higher self and allow that higher reality to come down into these present reality to sort of banish the darkness in which I live to the extent that I live in delusion. I can't get rid of that darkness by beating at it, but I can get rid of it by turning on the light. And if I want to live in inner peace by following this principle of self-acceptance, then I have to decide which level of myself do I choose to accept. Indeed, if I were to accept a lower quality that was in contradiction with a higher quality, my very acceptance of that lower quality would be a denial of the higher. That would be ridiculous. So when you hear such expressions as we've got to learn to accept ourselves, remember that who you think you are isn't who you really are. It's a temporary state that will change even as your body changes, and every cell in your body is replaced constantly. And so this personality also isn't the same personality as it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10 minutes ago possibly. The change that we experience in our lives is constant. But I had a very interesting experience when I was writing my autobiography, The Path. Going back into my childhood and remembering it with the eyes of a child, and looking at pictures of myself as a child and reliving that whole part of my life that was many years ago in human terms. And whereas I'm not the same person in a way, still deep inside there, looking into those eyes, I can see that that same old fellow is there, whether he was 1 year old or in the cradle, or 7 years old or 13, or all the way through my life. The same person is there deep inside, even though personality traits change radically. I'm a very different person in a way after years of meditation than I was, say, at the age of 20 when I was very restless and impatient, for example. So accept yourself, yes, but accept who you really are, not who your delusions influence you to think that you are. Accept your higher nature and realize that the lower nature is not your real self. It's merely a misunderstanding of directions that the soul would take you in toward infinite awareness, infinite bliss, infinite peace.